pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The appointment of Tucker Olveling to the Housing Authority for a 4-year term. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns from City Council on the recommended appointment? Seeing that there are none, I now need a motion and a second to approve the mayor's appointments to the Enhanced Enterprise Board. My apologies. Let me back that up just a little bit. So I now need a motion and a second to approve the mayor's appointments to the Housing Authority Commission as presented. Got a motion from Mr. Harder and a second from opportunity for citizens to speak directly to City Council on matters that are not listed on tonight's agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience this evening that would like to participate in citizens' participation? Okay, seeing that there are none, I will close citizens' participation at this time, and we will move on to the consent agenda. I welcome the City Council to ask any questions or comments about item number 2 on our agenda. Seeing that there are none, I need a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda, please.
Motion. Sorry.
Got a motion from Councilmember Harder and a second from Councilmember Shaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
26 has been canceled. We have a planning and zoning meeting on June the 8th, 2026. Our next city council meeting will be on June the 16th, 2026. And we have an additional city council meeting on July the 21st, 2026. Moving on to old business and tabled items. Item number 3, I now need a motion and a second for the second reading of Bill 26-18 by title only, please.
Motion. Second.
Got a motion from Harder and a second from Fields. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion carries 8-0.
26001.
Thank you, Laura. Does City Council have any questions, comments, discussion before moving forward? Okay, seeing that there is none, we will move on to final passage. I now need a motion and a second for the final passage of Bill 26-18, please.
Motion. Second.
Who is the motion? Got a motion from Councilmember Harder and a second from Councilmember Neal. So we will now take a vote on our computers. Motion carries 8-0. Moving on to item number 4. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion carries 8-0. And Laura, will you please read the ordinance by title?
An ordinance of the City Council approving a special use permit for Rescue 1 to operate a veterinary facility on real property located at 3155 East Sawyer Road.
Thank you, Laura. And does City Council have any questions, comments, or discussion before moving forward? Okay, seeing that there is none, we will move on to final passage. I now need a motion and a second for final passage of Bill 26-19, please. Motion carries 8-0. Moving on to other business and resolutions. Item number 5, 26-R-13, a resolution of the City Council receiving and accepting the independent audit report for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. I now need a motion and a second to take up Resolution 26-R-12, please. Who was the second? I've got a motion from Councilmember Neal and a second from Councilmember Wilson. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. And it seems like time has passed very quickly. So thank you for having me this evening. Hi, my name is John Cummings. I'm with KPM CPAs, and I'm presenting the Independent Auditor's Report and audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2025. It's my understanding that you have the bound booklets, and so we're going to start on page 3 of that. I will keep the comments very brief and kind of high level because I know that a lot of this information's been with you for quite a while and you get a lot of information throughout the year, so I don't want to bore you with too many numbers. But the whole point of this exercise is to be able to render an opinion on the quality and completeness of your financial of the City of Republic as of December 31st, 2025. That is a clean or unmodified opinion and the best possible result, so good job. For those that may have forgotten, the city did undergo a pretty large change in the accounting system during this year that was under audit, and so it was a learning experience for all. And so we appreciate all of the patience on the part of the people at the city for all the different things we asked for that was maybe different than the past, and all of their help in getting us all the information that we needed to complete this particular exercise. So they also did a very nice job of implementing. So that's just my view of it. So good job on all of that. The basis for our opinion was that we conduct our audit in accordance with and accepted by management and have become the city's. And so with that, we'll turn over to page 7. And I just want to draw your attention really quick to the management's discussion and analysis section of this report. And I do that because this is kind of a nice summary of the year's financial information and the audited financials, and it's a little bit more condensed than maybe what you'll find throughout the rest of the report. It is prepared by management, as the title would denote, but it does contain information that basically ties through to all the financial statements and also gives you some information about why things changed and kind of the good and the bad, and then also the things that are upcoming. There's a whole section on that as well, so read for you. So with that, we'll turn over to page 27, look at a few numbers. And on page 27, what you'll see is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for your governmental funds. And your governmental funds are the general fund, the street fund, the fire fund, the police fund, parks and rec fund, and the capital improvement sales tax fund. And the kind of to get an idea of what a governmental fund is all about, it's not a business enterprise. So the profit is not really a motive. It's more about resource utilization and resource allocation. And so when you look at this, it's based on what resources do you have to work with and how did you go ahead and use them. And so what we see here on this particular page is a snapshot of what came in on revenue and what went out on expense. So it's pretty straightforward. On the general fund, total revenue. On the expense side, total expenditures were $9,592,730. That is up about $6.6 million, and I think we're standing in the bulk of the reason why that expenditure happened. But overall, the net decrease for the year on this before other items was $1,239,582. If you kind of skip across to the total on this, the total for all governmental funds on revenue was $24,948,147. That's down about $34,000, which is what I would consider to be nothing. Like, that's immaterial as it relates to a $24 million. The bulk of that, I think, was capital related. So I was thinking about, the point of governmental fund, which is resource allocation, and kind of when you see these decreases like across on the bottom, total on the far right, the total decrease before other items is $5,735,366. But if you back up and think about what's actually going on these governmental funds, on your general fund, if you take off the effect of capital and debt service related cost, the city would have had a surplus to work with for capital and debt service of $5,000,038. So that's pretty solid. On the total for all your governmental funds, your total revenue minus grants, which would be kind of one time over a year, outside of the capital and debt service items that happen. So the city has a lot of resources to work with, and I think that's a testament to all of the efforts that have gone into economic development and just overall development of the city, and then budgeting as well. So kudos and good job on all of that. Any questions? Okay, on the next page, this kind of finishes up those same funds. There's other financing sources and uses which amount to proceeds from issuance of debt, insurance recovery, proceeds from sale of assets, and then transfers between funds. And so, after all of those things, the general fund had a decrease for the year of $4,883,178, and ends the year with fund balance ended at $4,457,905. The fire fund was up $741,025 at a total ending fund balance of $3,521,151. The police fund increased by $138,361 and had a ending fund balance of $418,334. Parks and Rec decreased by $994,115 and has fund balance of $1,639,140. And the Capital Improvement Sales Tax Fund increased by $322,314 and ended the year with $1,366,591 in total fund balance, for a total governmental funds fund balance change of a decrease of $5 million and a ending, or sitting in your case, a very nice asset that is reflecting how that happened and where that went. So this is going to serve the city and its citizens for years and years to come, and I might just say, very well done. I like it. It's very nice. So, any questions on governmental funds? Okay, well, if not, we'll flip over to page 32. It's a similar statement, but for proprietary funds. The water fund and the wastewater fund are your enterprise funds, and the motive of these funds is a business motive, so profit does matter. And because profit is what actually makes the operations of the utility possible. And so with that in mind, in the water fund, total operating revenues were $4 million. Expenses were up about $534,000 from last year at $3,608,574. This left an operating income of $821,935. You had non-operating items of a decrease of $36,742, and then capital contributions, such as transfers of $140,000 and $213,000 respectively, and that left an increase for the year in the water fund of $1,138,802, and ending net position of $12,058,326. So, good year for the water fund. On the wastewater fund, total operating revenues were $7,607,020. That's up $729,000 from last year. Total operating expenses were $5,073,401, which is down about $647,000 from last year. And that left an income from operations of $2,533,619. You had net non-operating expense of $870,943, state grant contributions of $11,956,216, and then developer donated infrastructure of $549,521. That left a increase for the year of $14,168,413 and an ending net position of $82,048,647. So good year in the wastewater fund as well. A lot of that was converted into assets in the ground as far as system assets. Across both of these funds, you had a net increase of $15,307,215 and an ending net position of $94,106,973. So a good year there for the utilities of the city. So any questions on those? Okay, seeing none, we'll flip over to the management recommendation letter and kind of go over some things that are inbound from an accounting standpoint. And throughout time, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board issues statements on how they want things accounted for governments, and they've issued Statement 103, which relates to financial reporting model improvements, and it basically changes your management's discussion and analysis, and then your notes to your budgetary comparison schedules to include really the why on basically why things changed. So why did things happen? In your MD&A section, which I kind of showed you there, it's been historically what changed and how much did it change by. They are added with this standard, well, what changed, how much did it change, and why did it change? So that's kind of a conceptual difference in this standard that will take a little bit of time to adapt to. Also, on your budget to actuals, there's a note to those budget to actual schedules, and it has always been driven by what changed and by how much. Now they want to know why the budget changed. And there was a new variance column that'll go on to the budget to actual schedule, but it's really not that impactful of a change. So nothing really to be overly concerned about on this particular standard, but it is effective for the year you're in now. So GASB Statement 104 deals with disclosure of certain capital assets, and basically it causes us to break out assets that are traditional capital assets from leased assets or leased subscription-based arrangement assets, and then assets that are held for sale. And then there's a note disclosure if you have assets that are held for sale. So if you bought a tract of land and decided, you know what, we're going to sell that to some developer at some point in the future, and the city's going to do a good deal off of it, and community development, whatever, there would be a special note that gets put in the footnotes. It's not all that impactful to do, but it would be there, where in the current set of circumstances and current standards, it wouldn't be. So that is also applicable as a standard for the year that you're in, 2026. GASB Statement 105 deals with subsequent events and clarifies what subsequent events, timeframes, and basically what all will be considered to be a subsequent event that would be required to be disclosed. And it kind of limits backward from where we currently stand, so it gets a little bit more restrictive. But that is applicable for basically your 2027 fiscal year. So on the next page, there is a project that they're working on that's the Revenue and Expense Recognition Project, and it deals with determining how a government should, exceptions, but that's the bulk of it. This is going to change some of that, potentially, but there's nothing that's definitive yet. It's just inbound, and we're waiting on exposure draft to see exactly what the GASB is wanting to do, because there were 3 different ideas about it. So we'll see which one boils up. But with that, that's what I have for you this evening. There is another letter attached to your stuff that's a letter to those charged with governance. It's required communication from us auditors to those on the Board of Governance, and it's our last chance to tattle. It's a good nighttime reading tool if you're needing to sleep, because it would be boring. It just has the very basic things that have to be in there. There's no excitement to report, so I hate to spoil it for you, but everybody here tried really hard, did a good job, and put a lot of effort into making sure this is a good result and comes out right. So that's more than half of the battle in what we do, and so we do appreciate all of their effort to make all of this possible, and their help in getting through the audit process, because they don't, I don't think, get a break from their normal jobs while we're here asking for things. So their patience and good-natured attitudes are much appreciated. So with that, any questions?
We have Mr. Gerke.
Is it typical, I'm just kind of curious, I've looked at a lot of financial, not city as much, but variance with final budget, looks like pretty much all the funds, we exceed expectations. Is that a typical, I don't say strategy that you see where it's better to be conservative? Or I'm just kind of curious what you see in regards to variance of final budget compared to other cities?
Well, cities vary by the city almost, because different ones have different traditions and different things that drive them, different motivations. I would say the bulk of them actually just amend to actual, so there's no variance. And so basically sticking to what your final plan is and showing like this is what we want to do, that's kind of unique to Republic in some ways. But I would say that your budget's pretty normal-ish, I would say, compared to other cities as far as what the variances come out to. The biggest thing we're looking for as auditors is that you do not spend more than you budgeted to spend, and that you didn't spend a fund into a negative position. So that's our big concern.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Gerke. Do we have any additional questions from City Council? Okay. Well, Mr. Cummings, thank you very much for coming here this evening. It sounds like staff did a wonderful job, so it's great to hear. It's what our experience is as well with them. So it's great to hear everything went good. Great to hear that report. Is City Council sure we don't have any more questions for Mr. Cummings before moving forward? This is a resolution, so we will move forward. Okay, Mr.
right.
Cummings, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your time this evening. If any questions do arise, feel free to contact me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. So as this is a resolution, we can call this immediately to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All of those opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion carries 8-0-0. Moving on to reports from staff. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few highlights from my report and then some additional comments. First, I want to mention I had the opportunity yesterday to attend the library ribbon cutting, and it was truly a great event. It's exciting to see that come to life, and we got to watch a presentation from the Historical Society there. We mentioned it earlier in today's workshop, and part of their presentation was showing all the different iterations of the library. And so the first library was in a barn, and then there's even over the years different members of the community would step in and be the librarian for parts of the day. So to go from that to what we have now, which truly is state of the art. I mean, there's what everybody's talking about. It is a really cool feature of it is the creator space, which now there's laser engraving, 3D printing. There's all these capabilities that this library has. So pretty interesting to see that evolution over time, and it is really great to be a part of. So wanted to mention that. Also, speaking of the Historical Society, I do want to thank them today for their workshop. Look forward to our continued partnership with them, and I certainly I look forward to them being able to complete their goals as they pursue their museum. I also want to thank John with KPM to come presenting our city's audit. Completing this annual audit is an important milestone for the city. We appreciate the time and professionalism that goes into that process, and so we're certainly proud of the results. And as always, I want to mention that report will be available online for anyone who'd like to review it. Looking ahead, a few comments. I want to remind everyone of the ribbon cutting for the Loop at J.R. Martin. It'll take place June 12th at 6. This is a highly anticipated project. We're excited to officially open another amenity that will enhance our recreational opportunities in our community, and we encourage everyone to come out and join us for that celebration. I also want to mention that Animal Control will be hosting an adoption day on June 13th. This is a great opportunity to meet some wonderful animals. They're looking for permanent homes, and if anyone's considering a pet, please stop by and participate. And then lastly, I'll just mention that June is National Safety Month. And so internally in our organization, we're focusing on this for the entire month. This week, the focus is moving safety forward. So trying to make sure it's not something that we're just reacting to, but actually a part of our culture. And as you know, we have people, whether that's in the field, operating equipment, driving, serving the public, every day, there's certainly danger around every corner. So we want to make sure it's at the forefront of our minds. That's all I have, Mayor.
Mr. Harris. Does anyone on City Council have anything to report for this evening? Mr. Gerke.
Just want to reiterate what Colton said, to appreciate all the staff. No, the audit, we get a nice, summary of it. It's a lot of work, and appreciate the staff and KPM and doing a good job. Again, I know it's a lot of work, and just want to say thanks for all the work everyone put in on that.
Thank you, Mr. Gerke. Do we have any additional comments from City Council or anything to report? And again, thank you, Mr. Gerke, for bringing that up. And Colton had mentioned it as well. And so this audit report is available online for the public. It's a little bit bulky for us to carry around, I know, as council members and the mayor, but we always have this as well to share with people as we're meeting with coffee or anything else. It's certainly nothing that we keep hidden from the public. Very accessible. It's out there. Ask us for it. So thank you very much for all of the work that went into that. And again, John, for being here this evening. I appreciate everyone that is here this evening. I didn't get around to say hello to everyone here tonight, so I appreciate you being here as well. I'm pretty sure I know why you're here, but hopefully I get to say goodbye before we get out of here. June is already a very incredibly busy month. I was looking through my calendar for last month, and it's just a scribble mess. So I think June is going to be the same thing. We've had some incredible moments here lately. I know Colton had talked about the library. It was a Memorial Day. I had an opportunity to go over to our Veterans Memorial and witness firsthand a beautiful flag retirement ceremony that was hosted by the Scouts of Troop 174, which is a scout troop here locally in Republic. And it was on Memorial Day. It was one of those deeply touching ceremonies. I got to see the scouts, I got to see their parents, and just a whole lot of people. It was very touching. But it's something, retiring that flag, it's not just a piece of fabric. It's a living symbol, and it's something that so many people have led themselves to sacrifice everything that they had so that all of us can enjoy the freedoms that we have. And to see those young adults sitting there and recognizing that sacrifice, it was just an honor to be there with them and a part of that sacred symbol of our freedom. So a great job to them. Wonderful time participating in that. I also had the opportunity to meet James Coatney, which is the Eagle Scout project, was the very burn pit that was being utilized that evening for the flag retirement ceremony. So there was a lot of full circle moments. It was a great time with the community. There was a very good turnout. I was very impressed. But I just wanted to give them a shout out because that is so incredible. Very thankful for them and the invitation out there to that ceremony. The other milestones, I know Colton had mentioned it about the library. That is such an inspirational place. When I say library, I feel like that's not doing it justice because there's so many things in there that I learned about just on taking that tour. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend that. And Colton touched on it a few things, but there's even stuff you can make a hat. So you can make yourself a tiger hat. You can make yourself a tiger t-shirt and all kinds of things between that maker space. It's not the traditional library that I grew up with. And being there yesterday, seeing that excitement and seeing the kids going through there, seeing the adults going through there. And there's so much there to look at that I couldn't sit here and describe all of it, but please visit. I know they would love to see us and they would love to give anyone a tour that asks for one. They're incredibly excited to share that building. Colton had mentioned the Loop. I hope everyone gets to make it to that. That's going to be a really fun time. It's always fun with the Parks and Recs department, so we're always looking forward to that. I know the public is looking forward to that as well, and I was able to share that at the chamber, and so I got a few comments, and hopefully we get a good turnout, and I think it's going to be a great evening. The weather's going to be perfect, so I'm just saying that right now. The Chamber of Commerce meeting today was wonderful. The reasoning behind my tiger tie for this evening was for Dr. Matt Pierce on Dr. Matt Pierce Day. Today is the actual day, June 2nd, that is Dr. Matt Pierce Day. And although I haven't had a chance to see him today, I know he was very involved with the school. The school had a great program for him, so I'm very proud of what he did. Very proud of the school district and everyone that gave that support for him on his retirement. And thankful for everyone that wore black and orange today. But that's my black and orange tie. I had a better showing at lunch, but it was a little bit too loud for this evening, so we'll have another time to debut that one as well. Looking ahead, one day I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of is Ozarks Transportation Organization Legislative Breakfast is going to be on October the 20th. And I know the RSVP will be sent out once we get closer to the date, but just make sure you have that on your calendar. That's a wonderful event for us to attend, to meet our legislators, to meet all of the people that work on this regional process of our transportation network. There's plenty of different opportunities. I guarantee you, if I've been going for 8 years now and I always meet someone new, and of course always get to strengthen those relationships for those people that we get to work outside of here. Other than that, I know I've been talking a lot. I told everyone for my 30 minutes of exercise today, the Pierce Protocol, I was going to run my mouth for 30 minutes, and I believe that I have well excelled that today. So, with that being said, we are not quite done working yet. We have an executive session this evening, so no further action other than announcing adjournment by the mayor shall take place after an executive session that is scheduled as the last matter on the agenda unless otherwise stated on the agenda or as allowed per RSMO 610.021. Tonight, we will be going into a closed session under RSMO 610.021.13, individually identifiable personal records, performance ratings or records pertaining to employees or applicants or employment. Closed session, closed vote, closed record. I now need a motion and a second to go into closed session. Got a motion from Councilmember Harder and a second from Councilmember Neal. We are now going to take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Shaw. Councilmember Harder. Councilmember Campbell. Councilmember Wilson. Councilmember Gerke. Councilmember Neal. Councilmember Updike. Councilmember Fields.
Motion carries 8-0-0. We'll take a quick break just so that we can say some goodbyes real quick. But other than that, let's get back here as prompt as we can so that we can go into closed session, get things on the road, and hopefully get out of here at a decent time this evening. With that, this meeting is adjourned.